What were some of the highlights?
Well, the briefing is indeed over. The IEC was talking about its state and level of readiness. In fact, for more on that, I'm being joined right now by the chairperson of the IEC, Ms. Pansy Tlakula. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Well, a very tight briefing, no surprises, not much new from the last time at the launch. I'm going to start with the question that was raised there, which was that of hotspots. Because there's fear among certain people that perhaps it may spill over and coming as it does on the back, on the eve of the voter registration weekend. Do you have any fears that there may be areas which may be impossible to sort of manage?
Well, we'll be opening all our voting stations across the country. We have just over 22,000 of them. Each and every one of those voting stations will open, even in areas that you call hotspots. And there are few of them. I don't think there are not even 10 of them in the whole country. We are in close contact with the security cluster, and they will ensure that those voting stations are open, because we have an obligation to give all South Africans the opportunity to register. And as a country, we cannot have no-go areas. So all our voting stations will open, even in the hotspots areas.
So there are contingency measures?
We have made contingency measures. We have tight measures that we have put in place to ensure that registration continues in those areas, both on Saturday and on Sunday.
Now, there's both excitement but also tensions in certain areas. I mean, we were in the Western Cape just this past weekend, and you could see the tensions building. They may be good for the atmosphere and getting people to understand that there's an election around the corner, but on the other hand, they may have unintended consequences. Have you thought about those as well?
Yes, an election is a fierce competition. For some people, it is a matter of life or death, but it shouldn't be. You cannot expect an election to be a somber, because people are contesting for power and they would want to win. Our message to political parties and to supporters is to say to them, campaign and do so robustly, but do so within the confines of the law. Our law and our constitution allows free association. It allows free expression. The law says that people should be able to campaign freely, without intimidation, without false statement being made about them, knowingly that those statements are false. So we are saying to political parties and their supporters, yes, contest robustly, because that's what an election is about. Campaign robustly, but please do so within the parameters of the law.
Now, a lot of questions were posed at the briefing around young people and the strategy, whether you have a strategy to attract young people in particular.
We do have a strategy. We communicate with young people through the social media platforms that we have created. But we depend on also a partnership from the media, political parties, and everybody involved, the faith-based organization, to spread the message of participation to our young people. And we always have to remind them that our democracy is a hard-earned one. It did not come easy. It did not come on a platter. We should never, ever take it for granted. And we can only honor those who delivered freedom to us by ensuring that we participate, particularly young people. Because the gap, the registration gap is among young people. 90% of people of my age are older, are already on the voters' roll. So we are appealing even to the media to say to you that as you spread the message, Vuyo, you must assist us to ensure that young people participate.
Now, you spoke also of a preference or a recommendation that perhaps people should register where they live, the significance of that?
It is not a preference, it's what the law says. The law says people must register where they live, and they must vote where they are registered. It's another very important message that we are spreading, because if people observe that, that assists us to maintain the credibility and the integrity of our voters' roll, so that people register where they live and they vote where they are registered.
Now, very quickly, another last question. Prisoners as well as people who will be abroad on voting day.
Prisoners will be allowed to register as well. They'll be given that opportunity, and they will also be allowed to vote. As you know, there is a bill before Parliament that is going to regulate the registration and voting of South Africans who are abroad. If that bill is passed in its current form, all South Africans who are outside the country will be given an opportunity to register. They will also be given an opportunity to vote, and this will take place at our missions abroad. But if you are abroad, you will forfeit your provincial ballot and will only be allowed a national ballot.
Chairperson of the IEC, thank you very much for talking to us. Ms. Pansy Tlakula, talking there about the briefing we've just concluded. For more, of course, on that briefing and other attendant issues, do watch our bulletins throughout the day and in the evening.